Hey you guys, it's Peter, and I'm back. Of course I'm back. I'm not going anywhere. Beast! Peekaboo, I see you because I need a good fan flip. I'm YouTube famous now. Available Christmas 2029 and a happy CD album, Dad. Shimmy, shimmy. I didn't even do the shimmies. Shimmy, shimmy. AF. That's when a smoke was a smoke. Groovin' was groovin'. Rock on, gorgeous woman. Beast! How are you guys doing today? I'm listening to a little Johnny Cougar. Do you guys remember? If you're my age, before he was John Mellencamp, he was Johnny Cougar. Y'all remember that? Johnny Cougar is actually from Seymour, Indiana, which is the home of my ex. My ex was from Seymour, Indiana. And when you pull into Seymour, Indiana, it says on the sign, it says, "Welcome to Seymour, the birthplace of John Cougar Mellencamp and the Oktoberfest," is what it says. The first weekend in October. True story. If you know Seymour, Indiana, I love Seymour, Indiana. It's such a cute little town. And Jackson County. Jackson County. And I love it. And I have so many stories about John Mellencamp and Seymour, Indiana. And I can actually remember my friend and I, this was this guy that I dated, and then we decided that we shouldn't be boyfriends, and so he's been my lifelong friend for, God, I met him when I was like 18, so since then, and he's been my lifelong friend, and we went to Farm Aid, and this was actually right before I started dating my ex that was from Seymour, Indiana, which is kind of funny in retrospect, but anyway, we went to Farm Aid, and John Mellencamp was the last person that was coming on. And we had like good seats. We were like in the pavilion. And we were getting ready to leave because neither one of us was John Mellencamp fans. And we're like, who cares? And all this kind of stuff. And so we started walking out. The place that John Mellencamp was playing at was Deer Creek. Well, it's not called Deer Creek anymore. It's called Clips or something. They've changed the name of this place for so many times through the years, but for me, it will always and forever be Deer Creek. And if you're from Indiana, or if you ever follow the Grateful Dead or Dave Matthews Band, you know will always be Deer Creek, okay? They always call them the Deer Creek shows, is what they call them. So anyway, we were leaving Deer Creek, and I don't even remember what year this would have been. This would have been like 2001, something like that, and 2000, 2001, somewhere around then. And we were leaving, and we're like, oh, let's just get out of here. Let's just, like, we'll beat the traffic. Because you have to, like, walk way to the parking lot. Then you're stuck in traffic because it's all country roads and stuff. And so we're like, we'll beat the traffic because we could care less about John Mellencamp. And we literally, like, got to the end of our seats when we're, like, walking out. And John Mellencamp came out and started playing R.O.C.K. in the USA. And the entire arena went effing crazy. I mean, they went crazy, right? And so we were like, oh, my God, what is going on? And we came back in, and John Mellencamp forever want a fan right here. I mean, if you have never heard John Mellencamp live, go see him. He is unbelievable. And a little unknown fact about Peter Monn, I am a very good pool player. I used to have my own pool stick. I think I still have my own pool stick down in the basement. But anyway, and my ex and I and his two roommates, we would go shoot pool in Seymour, Indiana. And there was this bar back then, and I don't know if it's still around or not. It was called O'Brien Street. And we would go to O'Brien Street, and we would shoot pool and stuff like that. And all these bars that we would go to shoot pool, they always have, this is small town Indiana, no, true story. I talked about this the other day in my true crime video, and we're going to get to that in just a second because I got updates about that. But in my true crime video that I did the other day, I talked about small town Indiana and Midwest thinking, and this is so small. This is Indiana, okay? Like, Stranger Things takes place in Indiana, and that is truly, Stranger Things looks like it was filmed in Seymour, Indiana, okay? Which is about, I think it's like an hour and 15 minutes, like, door to door or something like that. So anyway, every jukebox that they had at every bar, okay? This is small town Indiana, small town Midwest. Every jukebox and every bar was just like riddled with John Mellencamp. So I would sit here, I was listening to that song, so I was like, a little ode to John Mellencamp today. I have to listen to Cherry Bomb. So I thought I'd listen to Cherry Bomb today. That's when a smoke was. Do you guys remember the video of the two girls in the yard doing this? I love that so much. By the way, this is another one of my new sober t-shirts that I I bought on Amazon. No, it's not linked. I don't need to be the new Jaclyn Hill. And it says, smart, sexy, sober, and savage. Isn't that so cute? I think I'm going to wear it to Ultra Music Festival. It's actually fitting now because I have lost a little bit of weight. I did my weight loss update for the week over on my Peter Does Stuff channel. So if you don't know, I'm doing a weight loss journey right now, and I'm documenting it online on my Peter Does Stuff channel. So I'm over there doing updates once a week, so please go over there and check that out. All right, so first of all, a little window, I need a little coffee. I wasn't sure what cup to use today, and I thought, I feel like gold. I feel like 24 karat gold today. Do the children still wear the Mr. T starter kits? That's what we used to call it back in the day. Well, that's what my dad used to call it, the gold chains. I think my brother-in-law, Monn, wears a gold chain. I can remember I wanted to be different, so I got a silver chain, but then, then the silver, like, the link chain, I used to love those so much. People still wear the chains. I got all this kind of jewelry over here. I could show you guys right now. Actually, I bought this. My husband laughed so hard, speaking of the chain link things. I bought this, okay, online. I thought this would be such a hot look with like a white t-shirt. My husband was like, no, I don't think that's a hot look. What do you think? Should we do it? Should we do it for the video? Look at that. I think it's kind of hot, don't you? And then I have like the gold. Oh, here it is. I have this one that I got online that's like half pearl and half gold. Should we just do them all today? Should we just wear all the necklaces today on video? What is going on? I never wear these. I buy these and then I never wear them. My husband actually has a pearl necklace that he wears sometimes that's like half gold too, but I got this one. I like mine better than his, but anyway, what do we think? No, I don't like the pearl one so much, but I do think it's cute. It just doesn't look good on me, But what do we think about this huge chain link? I'm 51. I'm still trying. Listen, we'll just take that off. Okay, my husband was probably right about that. I'll just probably give it to him, but I think that's kind of cute. See, I got a bracelet to match. I did! I got a bracelet to match. But anyway, oh, look at this. So our old dog, Pee-Pee, the flying chihuahua that passed away, my good Judy Mel, my book club partner, she crocheted this little Pee-Pee, the flying chihuahua, and look, he has wings on him and everything because he's a flying chihuahua and he passed away. Isn't that so sweet? I have all kinds of things here. I could do show and tells of what's in my jewelry. Y'all want to see? Oh, I have more jewelry down here and things. Oh, my Lord. Look at this. What's in here? Okay, so this is this jewelry? Oh, here it is. And now this is kind of a little bit more my speed. Hold on a second. So, oh. What is that? That's like this was the cross that my mom gave me back in the day. This is so bizarre that I am showing this because this is the black onyx that I got on it or the black, no, it's not onyx, it's black, tourmaline. I went to this new age bookstore because I was so scared to do the paranormal investigation at the Herb Baumeister mansion that I got black tourmaline, okay, to wear out there because they said that would protect me. But I have this little bracelet that I got somewhere, and that's so cute. But anyway, I keep it in this bag with my one bracelet that I wore in a video because everybody keeps on asking me about it, and it's from, what's the brand called? I don't even know what the brand is called. Love Project, and it's the one that says love on it. It's red and it's beaded, and it comes with this little bag and it says love is here to stay. I love that so much, don't you? But anyway, how are y'all doing? So I got some updates about my video that I did the other day about Herb Baumeister. Before I get in this video, I do want to say that I am taking Friday, Saturday, and Sunday off from filming videos on any of my channels. I will be back on Monday and I will be renewed and refreshed. Tomorrow is the 2-year anniversary of the accident. I just got done with my therapy session. We're doing a trauma narrative right now, which if you want to hear about that, I talked about that on my Peter Does Stuff channel as well. It's really, really helpful, but very, very draining. I'm doing like intensive therapy right now over all this stuff. And, it's kind of become this joke over here where I say I was thinking about taking today off, but it's really hard for me to take a day off from filming. Like somebody said, they left a very nice comment on Twitter the other day, and they said, Peter, I know, I'm trying to respect you taking some days off. It was a nice tweet, but they said, I'm trying to respect you taking some days off, but like I miss when you don't film. But the reality is, I usually film on at least one of my channels every single day. Like my vlog, I think I posted every day for like the last 2 or 3 weeks, 45 minutes to an hour, and then I took like one day off, and then it was like a month before that. The last time that I taken some extended time off was while we were on vacation in Cancun. And before that, it was like 3 months where I've taken an actual day and not filmed anything. There might have been a day here or there, but like very rarely do I ever take 2 or 3 days off in a row. And so in talking to it's hard for me because I say this a lot in my videos, and I almost kind of say it to the point where I feel like people think it might be disingenuous, but it's truly how I feel. You know, to be 51 years old and get up every single day, work from home, be with my dog, you know, drink coffee when I want, and do something that I absolutely love, and just come up with like, oh, what do I want to talk about on my drama channel? What do I want to review today? You know, like, and just sit down and relax and talk to people in my vlog. My vlog is so cathartic. I love doing it, and, you know, reading books from my booktube channel, and I've been walking every day, and I've been like massively listening to audiobooks. I'm listening to The Housemaid right now. I just finished Mandy Matney's Blood on Their Hands about the Murdaugh murders. And, you know, I have such a blessed life as a result of being able to make videos. And you guys give me that life by watching my videos. And so I almost feel like I find it difficult to take a day off because it's like, take a day off from something that you absolutely love, you know? But in talking to my therapist today, he said, Peter, even people that do what they love take a day or two off here and there. And I really think it would be good for you right now. For those of you that know, I've talked about this in several videos. I'm kind of struggling right now, especially with the anniversary coming up tomorrow. And he was like, I really think it would be good for you to take a couple days off and just not do anything. And so I'm taking Friday, Saturday, and Sunday off, and I will be back on Monday. So I just want to make that clear so that people didn't wonder where I was this weekend. I'm not going to put any tweets out or anything up. When I take a day off from vlogging, I usually post on the Vloggerino Facebook group, because there's like a group over there. And then I also post on my community tab that I'm taking the day off. And if I take more than like 1 or 2 days off, usually on my other channels, like my drama channel, I usually tweet it out and I post it on my drama channel because I don't want people to worry. So, but I do want to say this because I'm not going to post it anywhere. I'm just taking Friday, Saturday, and Sunday off. So I'll just be sitting here probably watching true crime documentaries because I've kind of gone through this phase. So I went through this huge reality TV phase, and I'm still in it. I'm still watching, you know. Well, right now, I'll tell you all the reality TV I'm watching because I keep a list of all of my shows I'm watching. Real Housewives of Beverly Hills, Real Housewives of Miami, Southern Hospitality, RuPaul's Drag Race, Traitors, The Bachelor, and then my husband and I are also watching The Swans together. And this Sunday is the finale of True Detective with Jodie Foster, and I'm going to binge watch the whole thing. I can't wait. I watched the first episode and then I stopped myself. And then I finished last night La Brea. And we're also watching Vanderpump Rules. And so I was binge watching like first 1,000 Pound Sisters to get caught up with that. And then Vanderpump Rules. By the way, speaking of 1,000 Pound Sisters, I don't think I shared this yesterday and I wanted to, right? I shared it on my review video. But my friend Nikki yesterday, did I share this yesterday over here? My friend Nikki, she texted me something about Valentine's Day. What did she say? I don't think I showed this over here yesterday, but I have to share it with you guys. So anyway, she texted me and she said, Happy Valentine's Day. And then she sent me, you guys can't see it, but it's a screenshot, and it is of this like heart with Amy Slayton's picture on it. And it says, you are so delightful, because Amy Slayton calls soda pop sodies, right? Also another Midwestern thing. So I sent it to Amy Slayton, and Amy Slayton sent it back to me. She's so funny. I love Amy. And I said, Happy Valentine's Day. Look what my friend just sent me because she knows I love you. And she said, oh, that is sweet of them. Happy Valentine's Day. Love you, Amy. Happy Valentine's Day, Amy. Happy Valentine's Day, Tammy, Amanda, Chris, Brittany, and Mandy? Misty. Hey, Misty. How you doing, girl? Misty deserves a shout out of her own, I think. But I love 1,000 Pound Sisters, and it just ended. So I've been on this like reality TV binge, right? And when I got caught up on Vanderpump Rules, I was going to start watching, my plan was to start watching Real Housewives of New Jersey because I've never watched it. And I was going to binge watch that because it's coming back in April. And then also Below Deck, because I've never watched the original Below Deck, just the Below Deck Mediterranean. And so I was like, okay, I'm going to binge watch these shows and catch up, right? But then I started down the Harlan Coben rabbit hole of watching all the Harlan Coben thrillers, okay, that are on Netflix and Amazon, and fell in love with those. Then I watched The Tourist, which a lot of people said was horrible, but when I found out that there was a second, and now they're filming a third season of The Tourist, the ending was like, it wasn't that bad, because I was like, okay, there's a second season to it, right? So I loved The Tourist. Well, then I talked about the Herb Baumeister situation the other day in my video, the Herb Baumeister case, and shared some things I hadn't shared on there, and I'll talk about that in just a second. But I started wanting to watch a lot of true crime, and on that video, somebody suggested a new HBO Max documentary that just came out, which was called, They Called Him Mostly Harmless. And so that night, I was like, I'm kind of in the mood to watch a true crime show. So I ended up watching this show called They Called Him Mostly Harmless, and it's about a hiker that goes missing on the Appalachian Trail. It was absolutely fantastic, and it was about how internet sleuths, citizen detectives online tried to solve this case. I love anything that has to do with citizen detectives and internet sleuths. Don't F with cats. Loved it, okay? I love all those shows that have to do with where people at home and their computers are trying to figure out things, right? So last night, I was like, I want to watch another, I'm like real into the true crime documentary. So I watched Vanderpump Rules, got caught up on that. And then last night, I was like, I want to watch something else. So I watched this documentary on Netflix last night. It's the #1 movie right now. Hold on a second. Let me see what it's called. It's called, well, it was, no, now here's number one shows. Where's #1 movies? Okay, it's called Lover, Stalker, Killer. And it is very, very bizarre, okay? And it's kind of about this love triangle, but it has a lot to do with stalking. And as somebody that has experienced that, watching this show, I was like, oh my God, like I relate on a minimal level, not what this guy and the women in the story experience whatsoever, but this documentary is fantastic, and it's on Netflix, and it's called Lover, Stalker, what is it called? Lover, Stalker, Killer. So if you're looking for another true crime documentary to watch, I would recommend that. So that's what I've been watching. I've got a bunch of documentaries that I want to watch. Hold on just a second, that I just like, oh, here's some t-shirts I want to buy. Where are they at, these documentaries? Okay, so I want to watch Never Let Him Go. It's on Hulu, and it's about LGBTQ hate crime that happened to Australia in the late 80s. I want to watch Kokomo City, that is on Paramount, and it is about transgender sex workers in Atlanta and New York City. And then I'm going to go back and watch that Rail, the Alien Prophet on Netflix, because a lot of people recommended that to me as well. So if you have any true crime documentaries to recommend to me, I don't care how small they are, put it in the comment section below. Goodnight Sugar Babe, which is only found on YouTube, is hands down probably one of my favorite documentaries of life, and it is so poorly filmed, but the story is so important. Goodnight Sugar Babe. It's on YouTube. Trust me, you won't be disappointed. Anyway, but that brings me to what I want to talk about. So I did this video the other day, and I was talking about my experience with the Herb Baumeister case and my interest in it and how people had reached out to me and things like that, right? And that I had, well, I think it's like 4 sources and 1 person that's reached out to me kind of alleging that they know some things but hasn't really told me details. But 2 of the people had really given me like specific information. 1 person specifically had given me tons of information. This is somebody that I knew 15 or 20 years ago and how somebody approached them, right? And so I did this video, and to be honest with you, I didn't really know the response that I was going to get from this video. I thought, it'll probably at best get 5,000 views. I don't think that many people are interested in it and whatever. I was surprised to find that the views that I got on that video were very similar to the views that I get on doing a video about Colleen Ballinger or James Charles or Jaclyn Hill or whatever. It was very similar to that. And the comment section was just flooded with, I was so, you guys have no idea, I was so appreciative of the comments that I received on that video. I mean, it was like literally like every comment was like, Peter, you need to do more true crime. Peter, I want more true crime content from you. Peter, I love you doing true crime. Peter, this was such a fantastic video. I literally had people tweeting me, okay? People never tweet me about videos very often. I literally had people tweeting me saying things like, oh my God, I watched this video. This is like the best video you've done in a long time. You were so respectful of the victims. I loved how you talked about this. Peter, please do more true crime. The comment section was just flooded with people asking me to do more true crime. True crime is something that I have really wanted to do on this channel for a very long time, okay? And I watch Christina Randall, who is a friend of mine. I love Christina. Hey, Christina, how are you? I watched her change her channel from a prison channel over to prison experience channel over to doing exclusively true crime. And I love her videos. And she's also been so supportive to me behind the scenes through the years and things like that. And I just want to say a special thank you to Christina. She's always been so kind to me, so helpful behind the scenes, and just, I don't want to say specific ways that she's been really, really kind to me, because Christina's somebody that does nice things for people and doesn't ever ask for pats on the back, but just so you know, the woman goes the extra mile, okay? I mean, she is unbelievable, and I just am so thankful for several people behind the scenes. I should actually do a thank you video since you guys know the truth about some YouTubers who have like been so nice to me behind the scenes. I'm so appreciative of people that you've never even heard me speak about on this channel before. But I watched Christina change her channel from doing this prison experience videos to true crime. And I reached out to her at that time, and I was like, I've kind of wanted to change up the content of my, we had this conversation. It was like a year or two ago. And I said, but I'm scared to do that. She's like, you just got to take the risk and blah, 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 whatever. And she said, you know, whatever. And so I was like, okay. And I've been thinking about wanting to do true crime for a while. Now, I watch Christina Randall, Stephanie Harlow, and I watch Bailey Sarian. And the thing is that they are so fantastic at what they do, but they do huge amounts of research, okay? I think we all know by now, I am not great at doing research, except for when it's something that I'm like greatly, deeply interested in, okay? Then I will listen to a true crime novel overnight. I will get online. I will do the research and all this kind of stuff, right? And so the thing is, I've never really known how to like translate my interest in true crime or my interest in talking about a story online. I've also not been sure of like what cases to talk about, because a lot of these true crime people talk about very obscure cases. I haven't been really sure how to figure those stories out and things like that. I started looking into that and kind of figured that out a little bit. And so the big change that's going to come to this channel is, no, I'm not going to exclusively be doing true crime, but I am going to start doing at least 1 or 2 videos a week that are true crime related and kind of see how it goes, okay? You know, I talk about the same 5 or 6 people, and the reason I talk about them is because I'm very interested in those people. It's like watching a reality show for me, right? But I know to a lot of you out there it gets very boring. If the response from that video had been very slow, I wouldn't go in this direction. But the fact that the response was so overwhelming of people wanting to see me do more videos that were related to true crime, I'm like, okay. And I even said in the video, I would love to do more of this, but I don't really know how to do that. And somebody responded, and it was such a nice comment, and they said, Peter, we watch you because we enjoy watching you. Just do it in your own style, and you can't lose. And I was like, that was the answer I was looking for, you know? And so however I end up doing it, I think will just be natural to me, you know? And I'll figure it out how I do it. Christina Randall sometimes walks around her house with her camera talking about true crime, you know? And I live for that, right? So, you know, there's a lot of people that I watch. One thing I do want to ask you is, if you have true crime out there, people out there that you watch, I don't care how small, how large their subscriber count is, please link them in the comment section below. I'm going to ask you for several pieces of help today. So just that's one of them. And let me know, because I want to look into more people that are doing true crime to kind of see like how they're doing it, where they're finding their information and things like that, because I want to do this well if I'm going to do it. And I will say this, it's probably not going to start regularly. I might do one video here or there just to kind of get a feel for it, but it's not going to start regularly for probably a month or 2. I just want to make that clear. So, but that's the first piece. And So I want to talk about that. And I'm going to give you guys an update on, because two of the people that I reached out to said that I could share their stories online about the Herb Baumeister situation. And the one guy said, I'm ready to go public with this story. And so I want to talk about that in just a second. But before I get to that, hold on just a second. I actually have notes written for this video. Can you believe that? I mean, me writing notes. I know, it's crazy, isn't it? But I do on a lot of my videos. So the second piece of help that I need is, and I put an Instagram story out about this the other day, and I said, if I were to do more true crime, what topics would you want me to cover? And it's interesting, the comments. Here I can actually read to you some of the comments that I got. A lot of older cases, a lot of JonBenet Ramsey, but I really need help in the cases that you guys are interested, whether they're cold cases, whether they're open investigations, what cases you guys are interested in. I also need to, there's some people that I want to talk to about finding out like what speculative information I can put out there and things like that. I will tell you, I'm going to have to learn a different language to speak in doing true crime, because I literally read a Wikipedia page describing what had happened to Herb Baumeister, and that video was restricted. I don't know if you guys know that, but if you go back to that video, it's restricted. You have to actually hit a button to watch the video. That's never happened on any of my videos before. I was like, what is going on? And it was literally because I read the Wikipedia page. And what I mean by that is, in the Wikipedia page, it describes, I'm trying to talk around this so this video doesn't get restricted. It talks around the life and the end of Herb Baumeister, and it was certain words that I used. And so, and it was because I was reading the Wikipedia page. So I'm going to have to figure out, and that's where I want to watch some of these other true crime people too, to find out like the language that they use and things like that, right? So these are some of the people that people recommended to me. Somebody said, all of them. Somebody said, this is a cold case in my area. It's Sean Antle. He isn't a case I hear often. I don't even know who some of these people are. Robert Wone. I actually watched that documentary. Casey Anthony. Literally anything. I'm so here for this. Romance scams. JonBenet Ramsey. Hold on a second. Those in the current events now, which I would love to do ones that are current, actually. But I don't have a problem, like, if I was going to do 2 a week, maybe doing one older case like JonBenet Ramsey, or Jodi Arias or something like that, or then doing like a current case as well. Let's see. People are talking about local cases. Robert and Marcia. I don't know anything about these people. The Delphi case. I said in my video the other day that I was kind of nervous about coming out and talking about the Delphi case. We actually, for our True Crime Book Club, so I have a True Crime Book Club that I run with my good Judy Mel. Hey Mel, how are you? So this is my video the other day, and then we got a ton of people wanting to be in the group. It was so cute. So thank you to all the new members of the True Crime Book Club. But we actually read the Delphi murder book last year sometime, and there wasn't really any new information about it, because the guy that wrote it was really more interested in telling a story about starting his podcast. So like 3/4 of the book was about starting a podcast, and he didn't retract information that they had found out currently about the Delphi case. So the book really wasn't that current. If you guys want me to talk about the Delphi case, just because I live in Indiana, a lot of people were like, talk about Indiana cases. There's a lot of Indiana cases that I can talk about. There was a gay man that died here years ago. That's an unsolved case. And the Delphi murders are here. There's a lot of Indiana local murders that I could talk about and investigate if you guys are interested in that. I'm not scared about coming out and talking about the Delphi murders and what I know about it and what I've heard behind the scenes. In fact, that was it was surprising to me that so many people said in my video how scary my video was. And to be honest with you, I kind of lived for that a little bit. Because when I watch a really good true crime documentary, or I'm reading a really good true crime novel, if it gets me scared, like I can remember, I've never finished the book Helter Skelter, but I've started it so many times about Charles Manson. I kind of lost interest after he passed away, in all honesty. But the first part of the book, when they're describing the sounds in the night and people like, doors down, and then they talk about the maid walking up to Celia Court and all that kind of stuff. That part to me is so chilling. The fact that people were scared when I was telling the story about Herb Baumeister the other day, I was like, okay, so maybe I'm doing something right, you know? And I love that people were kind of scared by that, because I think that is part of the intrigue with true crime, right? Like, it's scary, but we also want like a happy ending. We also want the victims to get justice. We also want the victims to have homage paid to the victims. I mean, that's ultimately what we want, you know? And so, I'm more than willing to do, where am I at on time? I need to make sure it's not going to stop. Oh, it's going to stop here in 20 seconds. Hold on a second. I forgot to pause. But I'm more than willing to talk about what I know about the Delphi case, what I've heard from people, because there is so much. And actually, people in my video the other day were asking questions like, do you think that law enforcement could be part of the cover-up of the Herb Baumeister case? People have speculated that law enforcement and other people could be involved in the cover-up, the Delphi case. I mean, I don't know. I know what I've heard. I know what I've heard, but I don't know what I know. I don't know what's true. What is it that Mandy Matney says at the beginning of her podcast, and she also says it in her book? I don't know how so-and-so died, but I do. I love that so much. I love a good catchphrase in a podcast or a book or a TV show and all that kind of stuff. So here are some of the other people that people ask me to talk about. The Zodiac Killer, which has never been found to this day. And another Indiana case, Delphi murders or Snapchat murders. Somebody said none. With okay. The Murdaugh case, the Springfield 3. You know, at this point, if something more comes out about the Murdaugh case, like with the Stephen Smith situation, all that kind of stuff, I probably would cover that if I was going to do that. Because I'm so educated now in the Murdaugh case. After reading the book, watching the documentaries and everything, I feel like I'm up to I didn't feel like I could talk about it before because I didn't know enough about the case, but I feel like I know everything about the case now. So I probably could talk about that. The Springfield 3, Indigenous women murder cases. So this is interesting that you bring this up, because I think this is actually a really important topic to talk about in true crime. I love the show with Hilary Swank, and it actually got canceled, and it was called Alaska Daily, and it was about a newspaper reporter, and she and her partner in the at the newspaper were investigating the missing and murdered Indigenous women in Alaska, and it was such an important show, and it's actually partly what True Detective with Jodie Foster is about as well. Now, I've only watched one episode. I'm going to go back and start binge watching it from the beginning when it's over this Sunday. But the plight of missing Indigenous women in Alaska and missing Indigenous women in the United States is, and most of my true crime that I'm going to cover, just so you guys know, is going to be focused on the United States, because that's where I live. But two areas of interest that are very, very interesting to me are missing and murdered Indigenous women in our country, as well as murdered LGBTQIA plus people, specifically trans women of color. Those are two areas that I am very, very interested in covering when it comes to true crime, because I think they're two areas that get very, very little attention when it comes to true crime. I think they're very sensitive areas. People are afraid to talk about them, and I think we really still to this day do not know the language in which to talk about those things. And in fact, we read a book in a true crime book club. They actually made the Hulu documentary about it. Why can't I remember what it's called? The New York serial killer guy. What's it called? I want to make sure I get this right. New York. Oh, shoot. Okay. It's called Last Call, is what the book is called. I didn't even look it up to find it. But it's about the serial killer in the 90s. But what was interesting to me was, in watching this, that they talked about the gay panic defense, okay? And I was surprised to find out, as a 51-year-old out proud gay man that's been out since I was 18, that the gay panic defense is actually something that is still allowed to be used in the United States in several states. And what that basically means is that if somebody that is gay comes on to somebody that is heterosexual, a heterosexual person can use that as a defense on why they had to defend themselves. The fact that that is still a defense that is able to be used in 2024 is unbelievable to me. And when I heard this in this documentary, my jaw literally dropped. So those are two areas, especially talking about murdered trans women of color. I think that is a very important topic to talk about. So there's a lot of things that I want to cover that are very interesting to me. Some of the other topics that people asked me to cover, hold on, let me get back into my receipts, Whitney, are, hold on a second, Delphi, John Bonet. A lot of people ask me to talk about Delphi and John Bonet. The Delphi murders, those precious girls deserve to be avenged and to rest in peace. I absolutely 100% agree. Somebody said they just learned about the Tylenol murders in a college biology class. I don't know anything about that. Lori Vallow, I'm just reading these, and some of these things I don't even know what these are about. Holmesburg Prison Human Experiments. The West Side Park murders in Muncie, Indiana. I've never even heard of those. Somebody said, I love your thoughts about the 3 men who passed away in the backyard. Christina Randall covered it, and that's one video of hers that I have not watched. A lot of people ask for Midwest cases. JonBenet Ramsey. I'm not going to read some of these names because I don't know who they are. The Keepers. I love that documentary. More Killers from Indiana. Fred and Rose West. Stephen Smith. A lot of people ask me for Stephen Smith to follow up with that. The Golden State Killer. I'm like obsessed with anything to do with the Golden State Killer, so I know a lot about that. The Idaho 4. That is actually, we haven't announced this yet, but that's actually the book that we're going to be reading for the True Crime Book Club for March, is about the Idaho 4. JonBenet Ramsey murders. Eileen Wuornos. Oh my God, I am obsessed with Eileen Wuornos. I love the documentaries, The Life and Death of a Serial Killer. I love everything about Eileen Wuornos. We read the most horrible book. I've watched a made-for-television movie with Gene Smart about Eileen Wuornos. I've watched Monster. There is not one thing about Eileen Wuornos that I do not know. I will tell you that. And I actually think that Eileen Wuornos was somebody, I don't defend her murders at all, but I think she is somebody, and this is where I think it's interesting to talk about these things, that had a lot of mental health issues and was, that were perpetuated by, a lot of deeper issues of abuse and things like that. And she would be an interesting case if you guys want to hear about it, but I have kind of a different take on that than most people. JonBenet Ramsey. My issue with the whole JonBenet Ramsey thing, and this is something I'll say, I've said this in many videos before, is that I always thought that when her mom or dad passed away, that they would leave some note indicating what had happened. A lot of people speculate that it was her brother. Her brother did this very bizarre interview years ago. But when her mother passed away, nothing came out. She hadn't left anything, any note, any indication, which means that either she'd passed away with her secrets or there were no secrets to keep on the end of her mother, which makes you wonder, what is the truth? I mean, it's so interesting to me that case has never been solved. And when you talk about like Indiana murders and things like that, in that very similar area, my mother's best friend, my Aunt Susie, she lives in that area of Colorado. And when you think about it, like we've covered several different things. The Columbine shootings, we've talked about that on True Crime Book Club. We read that book. We also read the book, well, talking about JonBenet Ramsey. That happened in very same, well, not same area, but very similar to that. And then also in that area, we just read this book last year, was about the guy that went in the movie theater and killed all the people. So I have a feeling this video is going to get restricted again. How do you talk about true crime without your videos getting restricted? I don't know. JonBenet Ramsey, JonBenet, Delphi. They called him harmless enough documentary. Oh, so I could talk about that. Delphi, John Wayne Gacy. We read about him. I've watched everything about him. I don't, unless you guys really want to hear about John Wayne Gacy, I probably won't talk about him. Murdaugh, Delphi, John Wayne Gacy. People keep on putting on here Maura Murray. I have never heard of Maura Murray. I guess it's Murdaugh. Oh, with a laughing emoji. That was my book club partner, Mel, because she's obsessed with everything Murdaugh. So those are some of the topics that people brought to me. The other thing, other than YouTubers that you guys watch that are true crime YouTubers, what I also want to know is what are topics that you guys would like, who are true crime cases that you guys would like me to look into and cover? I don't care how big or how small they are. And in all honesty, I would prefer to cover unsolved cold cases or unsolved cases or current cases that people are talking about currently. Those would be the cases that I would be the most interested in talking about. Speaking of, let's talk about the other question I want to ask is this, okay? Is that I would really like to interview somebody for a video, maybe 1, 2, 3 people. I actually have 2 people that I'm going to reach out to that I've seen in documentaries that I've watched. 2 people that I really want to hear their stance on it, that are either either identify themselves as citizen detectives or internet sleuths. And I want to ask questions like, how do they find the cases that they follow? why is it important to them, what sources they use, and things like that. Now, as many of you know, I have a history of being stalked, okay, which is currently being dealt with behind the scenes. It was interesting because as I was watching this movie last night, some of the technicians that the IT person uses some of the techniques that the IT guy uses to find IP addresses and things like that, and to identify who the people are, is very similar to what the investigators behind the scenes are doing with me, right? So I would like to know if there's anybody out there that would be interested, does this every day actively, that is an internet sleuth or a citizen detective. What I do need from you, though, is so I can cross-reference it with the people that I do know are my stalkers, is that you give me your social media names and profiles, and that I can see that you actually, like, are a real person, okay? So that would be the one thing I would need to know before I reach out to you, because I'm not doing an interview with one of my stalkers. I'm just not. So if you're interested in that, my email is listed below. Please email me and kind of tell me a little bit about your story and then your socials, and then I'll reach out to you if I'm interested. I may not reach out to you immediately, but I do want to do that as one of my first videos I do about true crime, is how to become a true crime or a citizen detective or internet sleuth, because I think that's very interesting to a lot of people of how that process is, how they pick their cases and things like that. All right, so let's talk about the Baumeister situation, and I'll follow up on that in just a second, for just a second. When I filmed the video the other day, I reached out to these people, and I'd heard back from like two, but they weren't the main people. The other two people that had the main source information that I had reached out to, one of them actually reached out to me like as I was walking, and I hadn't posted my video yet, and I texted him back and I said, I'm walking right now, can I talk to you later? And he was like, yeah, and just sent me paragraphs. He's like, I'm ready to come out public with this story. He was like, I did so much investigation at the time that this happened into all these people, and basically what he told me, and I'm not going to get into details about this because I think that I'm going to save this for another video. I'm actually going to ask him if he wants to do an interview, okay? And so I would like to do a further interview with him coming out and sharing his side of the story of everything that he's passed on to law enforcement and things like that. But basically, and he has a source person that has also backed up this information, and then he has looked in and done investigations into this and found factual evidence to back it up, that Herb Baumeister allegedly was not the only person that was involved, and that there was a huge cover-up that possibly occurred, allegedly possibly occurred, and that there were many powerful people that were involved in this cover-up. Why that would be, was it there was a string of powerful men that were involved to do this cover-up? I'm not sure, but this person has looked into this extensively, has looked into the people that could possibly have been involved in this extensively, and is ready to come out and go public. And is at this point ready to either, do what he's going to do with the information, whether that's on my channel or whether that's him doing it himself or whatever, and he's ready to come out and share that information. So, he has asked that, I don't give any identifying information about him. And like I said, the information that he's given to me, I have given to several other people for safekeeping, and he has as well. So I just want to say that before I get into that. The other person that I reached out to talk to me about the videotapes, what they originally said to me, and I didn't say this when I talked about this on video the other day, but I talked about the possibility that I had been there. Now, what was interesting was a couple people went back and watched the vlog from my vlog channel about Fox Hollow Farms. I did not go back and watch it, so I didn't remember saying this, but there must have been a point, because this was the one part that I left out, that when I was there, I asked at some point to go to the bathroom or somewhere, whatever, and I knew exactly where it was, and it ended up being the spa room that they had turned into the spa steam room. And he was like, no, our bathrooms are over here, but this used to be the bathroom. How did you know that? I must have said something about that, because that's how it happened. I must have said something about that in that vlog, because somebody commented on my vlog and said, this is so eerie that you knew where the bathroom was when you just came out in your video, and said that your friend said you went to the bathroom, you came back, and then something weird happened. I don't know what that something weird is. I can reach out to that person and find what I've never talked to him since that meeting about our experience, but I have no problem reaching out to him and asking him about what he remembers from being there and things like that. But what this friend of mine, this person that had reached out to me about the videotape, said was that she believed that she had been videotaped and that she believed the videotape still existed, and that if those videotapes were on there and I had been out there, I was probably on the videotapes as well. Okay, well, that was very scary to me. And actually, she reached out to me like a year ago, and I really didn't respond about it because it kind of freaked me out so much. And it was right on the heels of me coming out of the hospital with pancreatitis. And she had reached out to me before about it, but she reached out to me again. And I didn't really know what to say about it. So I reached back out to her again. She responded to me after I posted the video, and she said, you can share everything you want to share on video. I have no problem. So I'm going to reach out to her and talk to her about it too. She said she would talk to me more about it. She's done investigations into why she believes the videotape still exists to this day. The videotapes I'm talking about are that before her Baumeister passed away in Canada, a police officer pulled him over the night before. In the back seat of this car, she saw a bag of videotapes. When they found him, there were no videotapes on scene in his car or anywhere else. And so they believe that he threw him into the water, okay? It has been speculated that somebody else was involved in that whole situation in Canada, and that they are the ones that have the videotapes, and today the videotapes still exist. And what I said the other day was that maybe what we thought all these years was on the videotapes of her Baumeister doing these things, I'm trying to be very sensitive in the language I'm using, can you tell, was not actually what was on the videotapes. Maybe the videotapes indicated who these powerful men were that were on these videotapes. Now, why I would be on the videotapes is because apparently anybody that came to her Baumeister's house, okay, when his wife was not present, that he brought there for any kind of, weird intent, all right, that whole situation was videotaped. What's so bizarre about it to me is that my friend at the time that said that we went there and he wanted us to go into the pool, I have this weird, the bathroom is right on the other side of the pool. Like you go out of the pool into past the staircase into the bathroom, which is now the steam room. And then there's a part when you go around the corner, it's like a bar and there's a couch. I showed it in the vlog, and there was this huge glass window that looks into the pool. That was where I started getting very weird, sad vibes when I was sitting there, right? People have said to me for years that I'm an empath. I probably am not, but I just get weird feelings about things. And just looking in there at the pool, I got such a weird vibe. When my friend said, when Tani and I were there, that he wanted us to go into the pool, right? I have to believe that on the other side of that window, there was videotape recording set up. The house also has a huge, like when you walk into the living room, from the bedroom upstairs, it has a huge loft that looks over. There are so many places that could have been had recordings set up, that he could have recorded people from all over the house, or whoever was involved in this could have recorded things from all over the house. So the reason why I didn't say that in the video the other day was because I hadn't heard back from her. Her story is so bizarre. The implications of why she would be on videotape indicates something so dark and something so deep that it is unbelievable to me. And I really want to hear more of her story before I hear about it, because it really implies the selling of people is what it implies. And she said I could talk about it on video, but I don't know the details of that. But she did say to me back then, she said, if I'm on video, and I believe I was, the chances that you're on video too are pretty great, because I believe that all of his victims were on video, or all of his planned victims were on video. She said something like that. So anyway, so there are several videos that I could do in following up to this. I want to talk to a couple people about how to appropriately share this information. Like I said, all this information has been shared with law enforcement. This is nothing that they don't know. I just want to make that very, very clear. So that will be a follow-up series that I will probably be doing. I will probably be following the Fox Hollow Farms Herb Baumeister case closely over here if you guys want to hear more about it. I feel like it is a closed, solved case that is not closed or solved at all. And I think there's so much more about it out there, you know? There was this movie that came out years and years and years and years ago, and I don't know why, when I was doing this video the other day, I immediately thought of it. It's called 8mm, and it was with Nicolas Cage. And Nicolas Cage, whose name I couldn't remember the other day in a video, right? And it was about this woman, and she was at the time about 80. And her husband had passed away, and in his safe, she found this videotape. And the videotape had similar things on there. If you've never seen the movie, I don't want to ruin it for you. But what she wanted to do was she wanted to find the authenticity of the videotape, and what was on there was real. And this woman was extremely wealthy. Her husband had been extremely wealthy and very powerful. That movie came out in the 90s, okay? To believe that there were a group of powerful men in Indiana, okay, that had a lot of power, whether it was through wealth or whatever ways they had power, okay, that were doing insidious crimes, all right, and covering them up by whatever means necessary, is not that far-fetched when you see that there was actually a movie that was based off of this, and this has happened time and time again, and we've heard about this, you know? There's been a lot of people, a lot of killers out there that have recorded their actions. There's also been a lot of group people. I mean, we know that these films exist. We know that they're sold on the black market. So it's not that far-fetched to believe that a group of powerful men in a small town that would be easy to hide, like Indianapolis, that could have happened. And I do not believe that case is solved. So that will be something that might be coming down the road. Probably will mostly likely be coming down the road, but I want to check with my sources a little bit. So if you guys are more interested in hearing about that, please let me know. Please let me know. All of the other cases that you would like to hear me talk about. Also, let me know about all of your favorite true crime people that you want to hear me talk about. And also, let me know if you or anybody that you know is an active internet sleuth, citizen detective that would be willing to talk to me. But like I said, I have to do a little bit of a background check to make sure that they're not somebody that is currently or has been stalking me in the past, because that's not who I want to interview. So anyway, yeah, I'm real excited about this change. I think it'll be something that will be really good for my channel. I think it'll give it some new life, some freshness. I'm excited about it. I don't know that I'll completely go to doing all true crime. Even if I did a lot of true crime over here, I would still cover big YouTube stories when they happen from time to time, but I don't plan on not stopping, or I don't plan on stopping talking about the people that I talk about over here and their stories that come up regularly anymore. Nothing's going to change with the channel. I'm just going to add that aspect to it right now, unless people would absolutely love this from me, and that would be what I would be doing on a regular basis. But I don't see that happening in the foreseeable future. I don't see my channel blowing up or anything like that. So it's just me doing something that I am interested in as well. You know, people are like, I see an eighth channel coming from Peter Monn. I'm not going to start another channel to do this. If I'm going to do it, I'm going to do it over here. And I'm going to do it with my name, Peter Monn, behind it. So anyway, I hope that you guys are interested in seeing that come. Please give me some help in the comment section below. I love you guys so much, and I will see you on Monday. Bye.